All right. So, first things first, I'd like to welcome everybody to Therapeutic Value. My name is Justin Spillis. I want to talk a little bit today about the war on drugs and how we have utterly lost it. Not just the war, but we've lost our minds as a society. If you've been following the news at all, you know that there are cities that have open air drug policies. Now, what that means is there are places that you can go and shoot up freely. Um, they're giving out free needles, cotton, all that, cookers, everything. They're making it so easy on drug addicts to stay on drugs. Um, like it boggles my mind. I don't even know. I don't know whose bright idea it was for these harm reduction and open air drug markets. I have no idea. Um, but I do know that it's wrong. It's wrong what we're doing and what we're allowing people to do out in the open. Like children walking by can see people shooting up intravenously. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So, one place I want to talk about is an area called Kensington. It's in Philadelphia, and people are on the sidewalks like zombies. They are it's just crazy. So I'm gonna show you guys a little clip of what that is, and you need to see for yourself. Open your eyes to what's going on, and I mean maybe we can make a difference. Maybe if enough of us are sick of this and we make some noise about it, then it might make a little difference. All right, so that's crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. So we're ruining ourselves by we're ruining our friends. We're allowing people to stay on drugs like never before. And I'm an addict, so I know how hard it is to get off of drugs. I know I went through it for 20 years of my life. I was a drug addict from the time I was 11 years old to the time I was 31 and I found recovery. I was an addict. Hardcore addict. And it's it's a miracle that I'm alive right now. It is an absolute miracle, and I have recovery to think about, to think for it. Um, yeah. So I don't want to dwell on the open air drug policies too much right now. One thing I do want to talk about is getting off of drugs and how hard it is for everyone, anyone. If you've ever had an addiction, if you've ever been a slave to to your addiction to a substance, then you can understand that it is hard. But what we're doing as a society is coddling. We're enabling drug addicts to stay on drugs. We're without a doubt enabling people. I feel like the government makes more money off of the drug community than they're ever going to admit. Um, I feel like we need to be harder on addicts, especially harder on drug dealers. Um, I follow a pop culture commentator named Matt Walsh, and he had a brilliant idea. Brilliant idea. Throw the book at the dealers. Throw the book at them. Get them off the street. Arrest them, and give them the max sentence because they are killing people. If you're selling fentanyl, you are murdering people. Absolute, without a doubt in my mind, they need to be off the streets, and they need to stay off the streets. I don't think they should have as big a sentence as like child molesters. Child molesters should never see the light of day again. But drug dealers, need to spend a lot of time in prison. They need to spend the better part of their lives in prison, in my opinion. I've lost too many friends. I've lost too many loved ones. Um, I was I was pretty much raised by addicts, alcoholics. My mother's still in active addiction, and if you have a family member in active addiction, I feel your pain. But that's the way we were raised. That's actually the way she was raised. She was raised by addicts. My grandfather died of an overdose whenever I was a little kid. I remember being exposed to that, and it's something I'll never forget. But we um we got to be harder on addicts and dealers, man. It's ruining us as a civilization. So what I really want to do right now is help spread awareness. Um, Recovery isn't something that you can force someone into, but a lot of people still don't know that there's such large communities out there that will help in every way, shape, and form. Whenever I first got into recovery, I had known about Alcoholics Anonymous. My grandpa used to take me to meetings whenever I was a kid, but as an adult, I really didn't think that there was the resources that really are. There's people out there who genuinely want to help you, just like there's people out there who genuinely want to hurt you and help themselves. It's like yin and yang. Um, so what I want to do is spread awareness. So on your screen, you're going to see the number for the addiction hotline. Um, Whether it's you, whether it's someone you love that is suffering, let's get them help. Let's spread awareness. Let's end this in America. Let's end addiction. Let's end addiction. So today's Monday. We're gonna bust into a little segment called Meth Around Monday. Um, Crystal meth is a a hard drug to get off of, as well as fentanyl and heroin. So my story today, uh, mething around Monday, is about the psychotic break from prolonged meth use. I was in Denver, Colorado, and I'd been up for about 4 or 5 days. So I was staying in this hotel called the Howard Johnson. We called it the Hojo. The Hojo was home to quite a few addicts and people, drug dealers and stuff like that. Even the security guard at the time was selling meth. So after a few days of prolonged drug use, you start to see things. You start to warp reality in your mind. So I had been in the next room over from mine with my ex girlfriend and her boyfriend, and we were doing some hardcore meth use. And I went back to my room, and I'm sitting in there with the door closed, and I started hearing voices, and I'm thinking like, where are these voices coming from? Where are they coming from? So I'm actually down on all fours because I feel like they're coming from underneath me. I was on the second floor. So I start hearing these little kids yell like, "Help, help us, please, somebody help us." So I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, there's little kids down here. What's going on?" So in my mental break, I had come to the conclusion that they were being held captive in an underground heroin manufacturing ring. So what do? I tear all the carpets up in my hotel room, completely tore them up, rolled them up, put them aside, and there's these little glue pellets that they hold the floor down with, and I'm prying up these little glue pellets thinking that they're bags of heroin that they're hiding in there. So I got this pile of heroin. It wasn't heroin. And in comes my ex and her boyfriend at the time, and I am like pleading to them like, we gotta help these kids, call the cops. Jesus Christ. So they're like, what the hell is this? And I'm telling them like, oh, this is all the heroin I found. Look at this. They're like, oh my God, you haven't been doing this, have you? I'm like, no, do you guys want some? They're like, oh, Jesus Christ. So they stand me up and they sit me down and they're like, all right, we'll handle everything. You need to get some sleep. You need to get some sleep. So they give me some Seroquel or something, enough to put down a grown ass elephant. I lay down and I finally get to sleep and I realize, I've still got quite a bit of meth on me. I can't let this go to waste. So I get up and I do an insane amount. And I don't even really remember the next couple of things that happen. Next thing I remember, I am holding the door closed in this Mexican restaurant that's next to the hotel because I didn't want anybody to get in. I thought the cops were after me, but I also wasn't letting anybody out. I had me a whole ass hostage. So this guy is freaked out. He's staying in the stall. He calls the cops, and fire department kicks in the door. As they're coming in, I'm like, he's in the stall, and I get past them. I fooled them. So I make it outside, and I don't try to get away. I run through the parking lot and I sit down next to the street on the sidewalk and I'm yelling at the cars that are going by. I'm like, please don't arrest my friends. Take me to jail. Take me. I had 2 active warrants in Duval County, Florida at the time. I've handled that since then. So the ambulance comes and they get me and they put me in the ambulance and I wake up in a jail cell and I'm still out of my mind, still on meth induced psychosis. So I'm in this room and I wake up and I look outside and like in Adams County in Denver, Colorado, they have like 3 tiers of cells and then there's this big day room. There's cops in it to make sure there's no riots or whatever. So in my methed out stupor, I would not let my roommate in the room. I slammed the door shut. So he's like, "Hey, roll the door." They pop the door. I slam it shut again. He's like, what is going on? So I take my mattress, and I throw it over the banister. And I'm on the second floor, so like it plummets to the ground, and people are like, "What the hell?" So the next thing I know, um, I lose a little bit of time. I wake up in a padded room, a padded room. I am in the crazy ward now. I am waiting on Duval County to come get me, because it's Florida. They will come and get you from anywhere. So 5 days goes by. I'm in this room by myself, and the cops come and they're like, "Hey, pack it up. You're going home." I'm like, going home? What? Like Florida's already here? Dang, that's crazy. They're like, "No, no, Florida. They said just don't come back to Florida. They're not coming to get you." Now I'm thinking the police are lying to me. So I said, "Nope. Florida is gonna come get me. I'll wait here." So they pick me up and take me to the holding cell. They give me my street clothes, and I'm still thinking like, okay, so where's my extradition people at? Where's the where's Florida? They're like, oh, they're right this way, sir. Let's take you to them. So they take me out the door and they close the door behind me. Now I'm on the street, still fully methed out, crazy. This is just one of the times that I've lost my ever loving mind on this crazy, crazy stuff. So that's the methed out Monday, messing around Monday segment for you today. So it's a real problem in America. It's a real problem in the world right now. Crystal meth is destroying people. It's destroying families. Um, every time I have stayed up for days and days and days, I lose all kinds of weight. I get new scabs on my face from picking at things. I feel like I'm not alone in this. I feel like people who are going through this right now. And crystal meth tears at your mind, yeah, but it also tears at your soul. And it leaves people doing the worst things imaginable to get more of this stuff. And it's a really bad thing going on right now. Really bad, just like the fentanyl and heroin that are so freely available on the street. So that brings us to our next segment, which I like to call Rock Stars of Recovery. So today's rock star in recovery is Mr. Robert Downey Jr. He is, I think you know, one of the highest paid actors in America. Um, he wasn't always that. Robert Downey Jr. used to be a hardcore drug addict scumbag. Um, he would rip and run with the best of us. Now, I feel like for celebrities or people in the public eye, it's a lot harder to get out of the lifestyle because it's so openly available in that community. Um, Everyone, like it's so mainstream. Addiction is so mainstream. It's crazy. So he spent his teenage years and a good part of his 20s in active addiction. He was in and out of rehabs, prison, and it was all in the newspaper. In 2003, however, he made a decision to change his life, and since then, my man has been Iron Man. He has been in Tropic Thunder. He has been in so many amazing film roles. He's one of the highest paid actors in the world now. So what I want you to get out of this is it's never too late to stop being a scumbag. It is never too late to get out of that lifestyle. And that is why he is today's rock star of recovery. All right, well, that brings us to the end of today's show. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for tuning in and putting up with this nonsense that I have just put you through. Let's make this a regular thing, though. I want you to like and subscribe so you can get updated whenever I put out new content. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Again, I am Justin Spillis, and this is Therapeutic Value.